The habits we have built are what most affect the quality and the direction of our life. Our day is mainly based on our habits. From morning till night, what we do is carry out actions that are automatic to us, based on the habits we have established. Even when we are certain that we are deciding what to do at a given moment, many times we are just acting on our habits. For this reason, any person's economic, educational, and personal results are determined much more by his habits than by his motivation. Motivation depends directly on willpower, which is limited. A habit allows you not to depend on this limit, because it simply automates your actions. And say this, in this video I will try to make you understand how habits work, how to get new ones, and how to eliminate bad ones. Let's start by understanding how a habit is composed. It can be broken down into three phases: the trigger, the routine, and the reward. This breakdown is also called the habit loop. The trigger is what triggers the habit, that is, what creates the desire for reward associated with it. We see the phone and we want to open Instagram. We feel tired and we want a coffee. Routine is the actual action of habit, like scrolling on Instagram or drinking coffee. The reward is nothing more than the reason why we establish the habit: the dopamine released by Instagram, or the taste of coffee and the effects of caffeine. Okay, figured out how habits are composed. Let's start by understanding how we eliminate a bad habit. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but rather than eliminating a bad habit, we can talk of replacement. Many studies have shown that it can be difficult, if not impossible, to eliminate habits without trying to replace them with another habit. Conceptually, the replacement is anything but difficult. We need to keep the same trigger and seek the same reward by replacing only the routine, that is, the action we perform. For example, if I find myself scrolling on social media in the night before going to bed, because I want to distract myself after a hard working day, what I could do would be read a pleasant and relaxing book before falling asleep. The trigger, that is to put me in bed, and the reward, that is to distract myself, are the same, but the action itself has changed. This is a trivial example and is not applicable in most cases, but by making some attempts, I am sure that you will be able to find the right habit that can replace a bad habit you want to eliminate. Regarding the creation and the establishment of new habits, there are several methods that can help you succeed. The first one I'm talking about is based on anticipating a reward, by far my favorite method, and the one that in my opinion can work the most, especially in the first moments. What you need to do is simply put a habit you want to establish before something you love to do, so you can't wait to finish that new habit to do that thing. Like, for example, play a video game, watch a movie, or read a chapter of a book. It seems trivial, but trust me, it works. I have already talked about this in the video where I read a book a week that you find on my channel. I suggest you to take a look at it to find out how it works concretely. A help in establishing a new habit can also be the 2-day rule. Simply for one day you are allowed to skip a habit that you want to establish, but never to do it for 2 days in a row. This is because many times when we skip a habit for a day, we feel we have failed and we immediately lose control and the motivation to try to establish it. This rule, instead, allows us to stay focused even after a day off and takes away some pressure from ourselves. If you already have some well-established habits, what you can try to do is link two habits. That is, make that habits the trigger for the new habit you want to establish. Let me give you my example. If I want to increase my mobility since I spend many hours of my day sitting down to work, what I can do is force myself to do some mobility exercises at the end of each workout, so that it becomes a habit that it starts to come more naturally and automatically at the end of each workout to do some mobility exercises. So, in this way, the workout will become the trigger for the mobility exercises. Speaking of habits, it is then impossible not to talk about friction. I have already talked about it in depth in the video in which I try to convince you to use an analog alarm clock. You can find it on my channel. If I remember it, I will put it up here. Returning to this video, increasing or decreasing the friction can help or make it more difficult in the performance of a habit. Do I want to stop scrolling the phone? I take it in another room. or do I want to get out of bed immediately in the morning, I put the alarm away from the bed, so that I have to get up to turn it off. Trivial things, but trust me, make the difference. So, we understood that to establish a new habit, we can anticipate a reward, use the 2-day rule, try to link it with another habit, and finally play with the friction. But how long does it take? Unfortunately, as usual, I am forced to give you a bad news. It takes a long time. It takes a few weeks or even a few months. On average, it is thought to be around 60 days, but it depends on habit. Previously, it was thought that the magic numbers was 21 days, but it proved to be too short as an interval of time to really consolidate a habit. But once you have established a habit, it will be part of your life and will help you to give the right direction to your journey. So I will say that it is worth suffering a few weeks to establish a habit that in the long run can change your life for the better. So, I hope you liked the video. In that case, I invite you to like it, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and take a look at the description for all my socials. And why not, if you want to watch my video in which I took a cold shower every day for a whole month, and it is a habit that I'm still maintaining. In that video, I will explain why you should try it too. Bye!